Good morning, third and fourth grade. I'm bringing our next chapter in Wonder, and this chapter is called August Through the Peephole. His eyes are all about an inch below where they should be on his face, almost to the halfway down his cheeks. They slant downwards on an extreme angle, almost like a diagonal slits that someone cut into his face and left one noticeably lower than the right one. They bulge outward because of his eye cavities are too shallow to accommodate them. The top eyelids are always halfway closed, like he's on the verge of sleeping. The lower eyelids sag so much they almost look like a piece of invisible string is pulling them downwards. You can see the red part on the inside like they're almost inside out. He doesn't have eyebrows or eyelashes. His nose is disproportionately big for his face and kind of fleshy. His head is pinched in on the sides where his ears should be, like someone used a giant pliers to crush the middle part of his face. He doesn't have cheekbones. They are deep creases running down both sides of his nose and his mouth, which gives him a waxy appearance. Sometimes people assume he's been burned in a fire. His features look like they've been melted, like the drippings on the side of a candle. Several surgeries to correct his lips have left few scars around his mouth, the most noticeable one being the jagged gash running from the middle of his upper lip to his nose. His upper teeth are small and splayed out. He has several overbite and extreme undersized jawbone. He has a very small chin. When he was very little, before a piece of his hip bone was surgically implanted into his lower jaw, he really had no chin at all. His tongue would just hang out of his mouth with nothing underneath to block it. Thankfully, it's better now. He can eat at least. When he was younger, he had a feeding tube and he can talk, and he's learned to keep his tongue inside his mouth, though that took him several years to master. He's also learned to control the drool that used to run down his neck. These are considered miracles. When he was a baby, the doctors didn't think he'd live. He can hear too. Most kids born with these types of birth defects have problems with their middle ears that prevent them from hearing, but so far, August can hear well enough through his tiny cauliflower-shaped ears. The doctors think that eventually he'll need to wear hearing aids, though. August hates the thought of this. He thinks the hearing aids will get noticed too much. I don't tell him that the hearing aids would be the least of his problems. Of course, because I'm sure he knows this. Then again, I'm not really sure what August knows or doesn't know, what he understands and doesn't understand. Does August see how other people see him? Or has he gotten so good at pretending not to see that it doesn't bother him? Or does it bother him? When he looks in the mirror, does he see Augie, Mom, and Dad see? Or does he see the Augie everyone else sees? Or is there another August he sees? Someone in his dreams behind the misshapen head and face. Sometimes when I look at Gran's, I could see the pretty girl she used to be underneath the wrinkles. I could see the girl from Ipanema inside the old lady walk. Does August see himself as he might have looked without that single gene that caused the catastrophic on his face? I wish I could ask him this stuff. I wish he would tell me how he feels. He used to be easier to read before the surgeries, when you knew that when he squinted, he was happy. When his mouth went straight, he was being mischievous. When his cheeks trembled, he was about to cry. He looks better now, no doubt about that, but the signs we use to gauge his moods are all gone. There are new ones, of course. Mom and Dad can read every single one, but I'm having trouble keeping up. And there's a part of me that doesn't want to keep trying. Why can't he just say what he's feeling like everyone else? He doesn't have to have a tracheotomy tube in his mouth anymore that keeps him from talking. His jaw's not wired shut. He's 10 years old. He can use his words, but we circle around him like he's still the baby he used to be. We change plans, go to plan B, interrupt conversations, go back on promises depending on his moods, his whims, his needs. That was fine when he was little, but he needs to grow up now. We need to let him, help him, make him grow up. Here's what I think. We've all spent so much time trying to make August think he's normal, that he actually thinks he's normal. And the problem is he's not. So that was a little more from Via's point of view. And next time we'll read the next chapter in our Wonder Adventure. And we'll see you next time.